I mean, we keep talking about the floods, and as the floods continue to ravage different states in Nigeria, the Minister of Water Resources, Suleiman Adamu, says that God is responsible for floods that have submerged various parts of the country, plunging communities into unparalleled devastation. For the third week continued, here is our Who Said What for Breakfast Central.
Stories I've been seeing on social media, I just laugh because they are misleading. Lagdo Dam releases the flood, its contribution to flood in this country is only 1%. Sometimes they release water without notice, and when they do that, it has impact on communities downstream. But it is not the main reason why we have flood in this country. 80% of the flows in this country is water that we are blessed with from God from the sky. This year's flood, I can assure you, we cannot blame it on Cameroon, to be sincere. Whether we're able to do that in Hausa or not, we'll continue to have floods on the river Niger and Benue basins. We signed the MOU with Cameroonian authorities. But since then, believe me, every year, once the flood season comes, it is the Nigerian Hydrological Services Agency that calls them. What is your level in Lagdo? What is your level? Even this one, they told us when he called them, when he saw that the rains were, I was communicating with the DG, NISA. I said, what's happening in Cameroon? He said he has been calling them. They said they have not released any water. But they said they will inform. They are the ones that should be keeping us informed on the basis of the MOU. They didn't.
Well, there you have it on what he thinks the cause of the flood is. But a quick overview of what the flood situation is in Nigeria for those who might not be following the story. Now, reports have it that the flood is caused as a result of the dam, the Lagdo Dam that was released in Cameroon, and unfortunately, Nigeria is taking the fall for it now, whilst the Nigerian government ought to have also built or completed the building of the Dasin Hausa Dam, which is 2 times the size of Lagdo Dam, that would also serve as some form of shock absorber to these floods. That hasn't yet been completed. It's been in the works since 1982, and here we are in 2022 with Nigeria dealing with its worst flood in the past decade. It also just shows again how much how much it is important to have conversations about climate change, because right now it's making a joke of what, some people have said that this is making a joke of what the people who are dealing with the floods have to deal with. You can't be talking about this being just an act of God without having facts of what the situation is.
Well, to the Minister of Water Resources, Suleiman Adamu, there's so much of, some of the statement that he made that I would like to react to. I don't know if I have time for it. So, first of all, the part where he says he lied, there's nothing funny, first of all, because, we're talking about the lives of 1.4 million people, maybe up to 2 million people that have been affected by this flood. And so there's absolutely nothing funny where, that he might be finding on social media or on ground. There's no part of it that is hilarious to the minister. But aside that, he is right with the point that he made, that the Lagdo Dam contributes just a small percentage to the flood in Nigeria, because Lagdo Dam is not opened every 6 months or every 2 months. It's water is released whenever they feel like it is going to overflow. It gets to a particular level, then they release water. It's more of raining, rivers overflowing their banks, irregular rainfall. Those are some of the things that, of course, flooded Nigeria from 2012, 2018, some of the major ones that we've heard about, until 2022 now. But this particular one is definitely the Lagdo Dam. But I think it's disrespectful, and I don't see how the minister doesn't see it in his statements, that he doesn't see the outright disrespect that he's speaking about here, saying that the Cameroonian authorities can release water in their Lagdo Dam and not tell Nigerians. He basically is saying that sometimes they call them to find out what's your level, and then they tell them, oh, we're good, we're not going to release yet, and then they go ahead and release it, and, he said, oh, they wake up and they find flood in Adamawa.
And then there was a time he did say that they would notify them 24 hours.
And they didn't. But he's saying that they suddenly found flood in Adamawa. So what he's saying is that the Cameroon authorities do not care enough about the lives that will be affected in Nigeria to at least inform the Nigerian government that there would be a release of water. People would, likely die. Property would be lost. Farmlands would be lost. Suleiman Adamu, the minister, doesn't understand the severity of what he's saying, and that's why he, can talk about it so freely. And also, it's another example of when you have a government that doesn't understand round pegs in round holes. Because if the government itself doesn't understand that Suleiman Adamu, in his statements, doesn't understand the severity of what Cameroon does every time that they release that thing without telling Nigerians, then the government wouldn't know that he has, that's enough to get somebody fired.
Beyond even talking about it being an act of God, what has the government done to even prevent? Let's assume it's entirely an act of God. No. There are situations that, or there are things that should have been done in place to prevent this overflowing. Our drainage,
so that's why,
all the other things that
that's why I said
done.
Round pegs in round holes and square pegs in square holes.
We can talk about this conversation from today till tomorrow, and we will not be done with it. But let us know what your thoughts are on Twitter at News Central TV concerning the statement made by him, and as regards this being an act of God. Especially, we would like you to see the whole speech, and let us know what your reactions are.